The other day I received a very interesting email from a man named Derek Carter. He said, "Hello, I am with Hope You Are Fine." That doesn't make any sense. You are with Hope You Are Fine? Anyway, he says, "My name is Derek Carter and I work with a bank here in Cayman Island." Just one Cayman Island? He says, "I am contacting you for an important business proposition which I strongly believe will be of a greater benefit to both of us." Okay, here we go. I'm all ears. "I solicit your kindness in assisting me to execute the transfer of a huge deposit with our bank here in Cayman Island belonging to my late client. I am constrained by insufficient information about you to express in full the main objectives of this proposal. However, you shall be furnished with details once your consent is received. Looking forward to your earliest reply. Thanks, regards, Derek Carter." Well, this is intriguing. Who is this late client of his? So I responded and I said, "Hello, can you tell me more about this proposition?" And he replied, "Dear Benjamin Dover." Yes, this original email was sent to Ben Dover, a fake email address that I created for the sole purpose of baiting scammers. And Derek goes on to say that this late client is Mr. Alexander Dover, and he has a private portfolio in the bank, but he left no next of kin. But you both share the same last name. The asset is worth $13,250,000 United States dollar. Holy crap, this Alexander Dover is loaded. Derek says, "Whether you know him or not, the bank has mandated me to contact any of his relatives and present him or her as the next of kin to claim all the assets he left in our bank." Alright, apparently there's this rich dude named Alexander Dover with no one to inherit his money. But Derek Carter thinks that I might be related, so he's on the case. He says, "Let me ask you these questions. Can I completely trust? Will you be honest and sincere with me?" I mean, those are basically the same question, but I respond and say, "Yes, you can trust me. Can you tell me more about Alexander?" Derek says he is a private jeweler and a businessman par excellence who invested in all sorts of commercial transactions, but lived most of his business life in Brazil and Canada. Died in Brazil in a car accident with his wife and 2 daughters. Oh my gosh, I said, that breaks my heart. I never even knew him. Is there an obituary or photo of him? Derek says there is no obituary of him, but we have the death certificate. This I have to see, so I ask, would you mind sharing his death certificate? He says, "I can't share his death certificate with you for security reasons unless you have met all the requirements as expected by my bank through the attorney." Okay, I said, "I understand. How do I meet the requirements?" And Derek goes off saying he needs some personal info so he can introduce me to his lawyer. He says it's important that you do not disclose this matter to a third party, as secrecy should be the watchword in this transaction. As soon as I get your details, I will file them with our bank and also let you know when to write the bank regarding this claim. So I need to get Derek some identification that I really am this Ben Dover, a possible relative of Alexander Dover. So I make up a fake address and I create a fake ID in hopes it will be good enough to lay claim to Alexander Dover's big fortune. And Derek falls for it. He says, "I will proceed to present your details to my bank as the next of kin to our late client, Mr. Alexander Dover, later today, and as soon as your application is given due consideration, I will let you know when to contact my bank regarding the claim. Note that we are to share the funds 50% each, and I'm trusting you to not betray me since you will be in a position to receive the inheritance as soon as legal documents are completely presented to my bank." This sleazeball, he's only contacting me because he wants to keep 50% of the fortune for himself. For doing what? Writing an email? I say, "I'm sorry, I don't understand. You say we are splitting the fortune?" And he says nothing, but eventually he chimes in with, "I was able to present your details to my bank as the next of kin to my late client. So the ball has started rolling and we need to be on the same page to achieve this purpose." He goes on to tell me to contact a Mr. Ryan Bahadur, who's the Executive Vice President and Chief Operation Officer at the Cayman National Bank. Turns out he's a real guy from Cayman National Bank, but the Ryan I'm told to email doesn't have the official Cayman National Bank email address, which is weird. So I look up the domain details on his site, and I can see that it was registered only a couple months ago. And the person who registered the site isn't living in the Cayman Islands, they're living in Jigwa, Nigeria. Dang it, I hate it when things turn out to be too good to be true. I can even see the phone number of the registrant, and when I look him up on WhatsApp, his profile picture says mobcomspy.com. Okay, what's this website? Turns out it's a company offering cybersecurity protection. I learned that their CEO is a guy named Ethan Williams. Who's this guy? Oh, it turns out he's just a stock photo model. This is a fake site that's not even fully built, and they're definitely preparing an elaborate scam. So this Ryan guy that I'm supposed to contact at the bank has his fingers in a lot of different scams. But let's hit him up and see if he can get me my inheritance money. I say, hello, Mr. Bahadur. Please see the below message from Derek Carter. Can we arrange a time to speak about my relative Alexander's inheritance? Well, Ryan writes me back and he welcomes me to Cayman National Bank. He says, firstly, we want to use this meeting to express our heartfelt sympathy to you as a relative to our late client who is indeed a good customer to our bank. Oh, well, that's nice. He then asks me to reconfirm my personal details. So I send him the same stuff I sent Derek, and he says, after much review on your details provided, we are pleased to inform you that your details have been certified with what we have in our database, hence we shall commence with the release of your inheritance. Yeah, I'm sure he spent a lot of time reviewing this fake ID. But now it was time to claim Uncle Dover's inheritance. Except apparently I need to provide the death certificate, a grant of probate, a police report from Brazil, and a deposit certificate. Well, where in the crap am I gonna find all that? I guess I gotta go back to Derek and tell him to hand it over. I say, Derek, can you please help me obtain these documents? But I guess Derek doesn't have them either, despite what he told me earlier. He tells me I need to reach out to some lawyer from Broadhead Law Firm in California named George Oren. This is so frustrating. It's like some dumb RPG game where I have to go get something from a guy, but I gotta get another thing from this other guy to get the thing from the first guy. But I do it. I say, hello, sir. Please see the forward email below. I've been instructed to contact you for materials related to my late relative. And George says, attention, Benjamin Dover. This is Broadhead Law, LLC. He says, suffice me to say that the bank is totally correct according to the law and within ambit of banking rules and regulations. He says that we have to obtain from the Grand Court of the Cayman Islands a grant of probate of the estate of such deceased person. But he needs all my info again. Oh my gosh, can't these guys just talk to each other? So I send it again. He says, Broadhead Law LLC shall commence to contact the designated office in Brazil where most of these documents are to be procured to ascertain the cost of the documents. And apparently it's going to cost $3,500. $3,500 to get a couple documents from Brazil? How do these lawyers sleep at night? But I go along with it and I say I'll pay. And the way he wants me to pay is to send it to a lady named Tammy who has a bank account in Tucson, Arizona. Okay, so in order to get my inheritance money from a bank in the Cayman Islands, I have to go through a lawyer in California to get some documents from Brazil by paying a woman in Tucson, Arizona named Tammy. Makes total sense. And I think that what we have here is a money mule named Tammy, and I want to know if she knows what she's mixed up in. So I ask who Tammy is. He says Tammy is our payment receiving agent. Just make the payment and send me payment confirmation slip. I say, okay, do you have a phone number for Tammy? He says, yes, and why ask about her phone number if I may ask? And I say, because if I am to do a wire transfer, they might require it. He says the bank won't require it, but he gives me a number anyway. But I look up this number on freecarrierlookup.com and it's not a wireless number. It's likely a burner. This isn't her real number and he doesn't want to give it to me. So I need another way to get it. I just need more time. So I write to George and I say, sent. And he says, kindly send proof of payment as soon as possible. I hate that word, but I say, what kind of proof? Receipt of payment. All right, so I need to go back to Photoshop to create a receipt of a bank payment so that I can keep him on the hook. And apparently I'm not moving fast enough because he's like, where is the receipt of payment? So I finish it and I upload it to my Google Drive and then I get a link, but I hide the link behind a redirect link from grabify.link because I can track his IP address if he clicks on it. So I make him think that I just shared a file with him, but I actually tricked him into visiting my custom link. And just as I suspected, this George Oren is in. And the best part is that he doesn't know that he's been tracked. And he says, as soon as payment is confirmed, I will proceed to procuring the documents as expected. Meanwhile, contact the Cayman National Bank that you are in progress with procuring the necessary documents. So I let Derek know how it's going and a couple hours go by. George says our agent is yet to confirm payment. Are you sure you did the transfer properly? I said, of course I did it properly. Look at the receipt. They said it takes a day or two. Are you sure Tammy looked? But George is getting worried now because he probably thinks that there's a chance that Tammy's bank might have flagged the transaction. So he's got to move quick and he suggests that I send the money through Zelle. And if any of you use Zelle, you know that you have to use an actual email or phone number on your account, which George eventually sends me. And it's a different number than the first one that he gave me, but I can verify that this is an actual Verizon number registered to a person in Tucson, Arizona. So we have a name, a phone number, and a bank account that we can report. But let's see if I can get a hold of her first.
8 is not available.
Hi Tammy, this is Ben over at Unify Federal Credit Union, and I just wanted to get in touch with you about a transaction that was sent to you. We just want to ask you a couple questions about it so that we can get it processed and put into your account. So please give me a call back. My number is 435.
Hi, this is Eileen. I have been working with a lawyer who's instructed me to send you a payment. and I just wanted to call you and see if there was an easier way to get you this money. Could you please give me a call back when you get a chance?
Yeah, it's not going to happen, but George is getting frustrated that I'm not sending the money. So now all I can do is screw with George. I look at the website that his email is registered to and I go to see who set it up. And once again, these scammers are so sloppy that they're sharing the information of who registered the website. I can see the name, email address, and even the phone number of the person behind this site. Now the name is different from the last site, but the address is the same. For some reason, they're listing Lilygate Hotel in Lagos as the registration address, which makes you wonder what in the world is going on at the Lilygate estate. Well, when I take that phone number over to WhatsApp, which is what everyone in Nigeria uses, I can see a profile picture of a woman. Okay, so is this woman behind the scam? Or is this a girlfriend or a mom? I don't know for certain, so I'm gonna blur it for you, but I took the picture and I wrote back to George and I said, "Is this Tammy?" And he didn't say anything more. And neither did Ryan, and neither did Derek, which means I think I caught him. And I hope that Tammy's credit union will be interested in the information I was able to uncover, and maybe they'll have a little talk with her about laundering money for Nigerian scammers. This is a silly scam, but you know that there are people out there who are falling for it. Otherwise, these scammers wouldn't be putting in the time and resources to build these sites and blast out these emails. So I hope you know what to watch out for the next time someone tells you that your long-lost rich uncle has died. So be safe, everyone, and I'll see you next time.